Okay, we've seen depth versus clock time model. It looks kind of like this. We just put water in this thing and we release the flow of water, and water flows out of this tube. And the depth is a quadratic function of clock time. Now, you're not going to learn in this course why that is. That requires being at least halfway through the first semester of calculus and maybe halfway even through the second semester to understand that very well. And then you understand it even better in the differential equations course, but most people don't get that far. Okay. Okay. In any case, the depth is a function of clock time, and this function is a parabola. It has the same basic shape as your toolkit parabola function. As a matter of fact, you can take that and you take a graph of the toolkit function. Remember, we can cut this in half, cut this in half, cut this in half, and cut it in half here, and cut it in half here, and cut it in half here, and get points on the graph. Okay, as we see. So we know how to construct the graph of the toolkit function. And of course, we did that in preceding video. It looks like this. I shouldn't mind you, but that's a skill that you would hopefully have mastered by the time we see what we're doing here. Okay. We've also seen that our toolkit 4x4 function square doesn't always look like a square depending on what kind of numbers we have on the two axes. We've also seen that we can move this thing over here and squash it down by a factor of 2 and match this curve. I even gave you a preview and saw how you can get a formula for that curve. You're not responsible for that formula. You will be, but you are not. So don't worry too much about that if you don't understand it. But it's a good thing. It's a good idea to at least kind of think about that and see how well you can understand it at this point, because it's going to make it much easier when you really have to understand it. But don't spend hours on this and obsess on it. Spend 5 minutes thinking about it. It's not clear to you. Well, you know, got to build up your algebra a little bit before it's possible to do that. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do with my original sketch, depth versus time model, I could do it with this sketch, but I've got all kinds of labels. This is fairly plain. I'll show you how we can see whether I've got a good parabola here. If I know the vertex, okay, the point where the red dot goes, okay, this is our red dot here. And one other point on the parabola, then I can sketch an accurate parabola, just the same way I did for the toolkit parabola. How do we do that?